stood up there and looked at him, and it's like...
I just couldn't hold it anymore, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was a chupacabra. I was so excited.
They were referring to Bigfoot.
There are voices in the darkness. The reason why this show is called Drunken.
And welcome back to another episode of the Drunkencryptids. I'm your host, Matthew Orton. And returning tonight again, Connor for part 2. So check this out, you guys. Real quick shout out to blademedia.com. Dylan, I appreciate the hard work you've done. We had to turn the logo off because with the TV on, it messes up with the lighting in the camera. So I get a ring light down here. That's how it's going to be. But anyways, y'all know it's the Drunkencryptids. Events coming up again, you guys. I am going to be at the Ohio Bigfoot Jamboree 2. I'll be a speaker there, put on by the Cryptids of the Corn crew. Thank you guys very much for the invite. I'm excited to be there. That should be on October 4th. So if you're in Ada, Ohio, or in the area, check them out. Go to cryptidsofthecorn.com, and they have the tickets for sale. And so, again, I'll be in the family event. So, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Come out and hang out, meet us. I'll be like the headline speaker for that day. I'm pretty excited about that, actually.
You should.
I know. I'm pretty proud.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I got to do a little pat on the back on that one. But also, we're going to be at the Arkansas Paranormal Expo again this year, which is a really neat little thing to do. If you've never been to it, you need to go check it out.
It's probably going to be a drill weekend, like every big event.
October 25th and 26th.
I can find that out like right now.
There you go. See? But it's a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of good guest speakers there. I'm actually on the list as a backup speaker.
Really?
Yeah.
So who are some of the other headliners there?
They have not named them yet.
Oh.
But so if somebody backs out, I'm one of the backups.
Sick.
I know. Isn't that cool?
That is going to be pretty cool because that's a whole thing, and a lot of people like that stuff.
They do.
I hope I don't have drill because like that would be one I want to attend.
Yeah, we had a good time at it last year. Met a lot of good people. We had a booth set up. We'll have the table set up. We'll have T-shirts, stickers, and everything for sale. Get a chance to meet and greet, talk to folks. We'll have some more things set up this year than we did last year. I'll have some tracks.
Oh, sweet.
You know what I mean? I'm going to have
growing
in the place. Yep. So, and the more I do this stuff, the more I learn to make it better and make it look
exactly.
better.
I do the same thing with mine.
And that's what you have to
promote
do.
yourself.
Yeah, you got to grow.
Yeah, you have to grow.
And if you're not willing to grow, and that that's part of the even into the paranormal and cryptid side of the house, you have to grow and be willing to listen to new theories, be willing to explore new ideas. And there's a lot of people in the community who won't.
You should always be wanting to learn, or you should always be learning something.
Yeah. Not every haunting's a demon. I'm not going to mention any shows. Did you just touch me? Yes, you know who I'm talking about already.
It's over there.
Yeah.
Did you see the ghost?
He's right there. Oh, hey, Eric, go check that out. I'll leave the name alone after that one. But it's a lot of fun to go to the Arkansas Paranormal Expo. That's the only events that I have at this time, so there may be more coming up. Check out the Facebook page. Check out, of course, all of our social media platforms and everything. Make sure you like us and share us. Thank you guys for liking and sharing the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate everything you guys have done for me. You're helping me grow. You're helping out in the algorithm. The more you likes, the more you shares, I do. Special shout out real quick, though. My guys at Nevermore Hollows, Alan and Chris, thank you very much. Of course, John, Mist Monsters and Mullets. Great show, great guy. He got started on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah, he got started on TikTok.
There's a lot of people who's just blown up on TikTok.
He's got a huge thing on TikTok, and now he's recording them, and he's putting them up on, his own show started. He's wanting to do some interviews. He's trying to grow. He's doing a really good job. So, Miss Monsters and Mullets, check him out. Let's see here, of course, Cryptids of the Corn, you guys. I can't say enough about those guys. Eric from over there at Uncomfortable. Eric's a great supporter of the show. Like Justin and Jay from Cryptids of the Corn, I was a big fan of his show. And he was my number 25 interview. Let me be number. Yeah. So I told him what I was doing and everything, and he got, he interviewed me, and I said, hey, I want to interview you, but I want you to be my 25th episode.
Cool.
Number 25. So we have a special one we're planning for our 100th episode.
Oh, that'll be cool.
I know. So we're really close to it.
So it's funny. Speaking of the paranormal stuff, I actually met the ghost hunters back right out of boot camp.
Grant and Jason and Grant. Yeah.
Yep. They stayed. I worked at a hotel for 2 months, and they stayed at my hotel overnight.
Oh, that'd be cool. How were they?
Grant was fantastic.
See, I like Grant out of all of them.
Yeah, and I got to meet his kids, and he got the kids. They came in super late, and he knew I recognized him, and before I really got to ask, I was 19 years old, and so he's like, we will come and I'll come down and chat. And I was like, he's gonna blow me off. Nope, he just went and put his kids to bed, and he came back down. Him and I just chat in the lobby. I thought that was the coolest thing. Like another one, watching them on Sci-Fi. I don't even know if that's
Sci-Fi channel.
The Sci-Fi, is that still going?
I don't know. I get rid of cable a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't have cable. Who has cable? But yeah, so I met them. That was
My
that
parents.
was cool. Yeah, probably that generation.
The generation. I mean, I held on to it till last year. I finally got it last year.
No, I as an adult, I've never personally had it.
See, I love The Simpsons. So, like, even if I've seen the episodes already, so my unwind when I get done doing interviews and I get done doing this stuff, because we get some pretty dark topics, on my show.
Oh,
and we get into it, and it runs pretty late a lot of times. And so my deprogram is Simpsons and Bob's Burgers. So
I've never watched Bob's Burgers.
What?
Never.
What planet are you from? You should go watch Bob's Burgers.
I don't know.
Stop right now and go watch Bob's Burgers.
I know.
I'm not going to lie. Luis is my spirit animal. I love Luis. Trust me, you'll know. They're on Hulu.
I have Hulu.
They're on Disney.
I have
Hulu.
all of those streaming services.
Check out Bob's
Disney
Burgers.
cable.
Check out Bob's Burgers.
Okay.
Trust me, you're not going to be disappointed. It's kid friendly, but with enough adult humor to make you laugh.
Okay.
They do a really good job at intermingling too. It looked like for the first season they weren't planning on it being a big hit.
And it blew up.
And it blew up. It's great. It's
well,
great.
I've watched Bluey. I like Bluey.
You know what? Bluey is by far the best.
There's a lot of adult content, not negative adult content.
No.
Like,
no, they
but
cover
things
a
that
lot.
parents can relate to, especially with like new moms.
The last season. Watch the last season.
My son wasn't into it when he was first born, and he's now kind of getting into his shows, and so I've been introducing Bluey because I like it.
So have you seen the last episode?
I saw.
They're heartbreaking.
Yeah,
holy cow!
I've seen them through TikTok, and it is sad when they kind of like grow up.
Well,
They have,
so
like,
they did
fast
the last
forwards or
one.
something like
They
that.
do a real quick fast forward one, but leading up to that.
Okay, I haven't seen that last episode then. I just heard it's sad.
Okay, so let me bring you one real quick, because in case nobody caught the last episode you're on. So this is Connor. Everybody say hi to Connor.
Hey guys.
From Las Vegas Reptiles. We just been doing his part 1. We're now doing the part 2. Except for the topics are going to go completely away from reptiles, because we got some really interesting topics we're going to dig into that deal into a topic of ours, because everybody gets involved in this for a reason. And you mentioned the ghost hunters, and you mentioned some other stuff, and we're going to cover that. But we're just talking about kid shows. So there's a Peppa Pig episode banned in Australia?
Oh, Peppa Pig. No.
You know why?
No.
Because they're being friendly to spiders and saying spider, you know what I mean?
Huh.
Yeah, and in Australia, the Australians are going, no.
Yeah,
no,
so that's number one destination.
Kill. Yeah, same.
Number one destination place for me.
Same.
I will go there. I have several friends in Australia.
Yeah, everything wants to kill you.
If you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Know what you're doing.
But again, too, me, I don't like spiders, so we're fine.
It's funny. I have a giant spider
over there. Yeah, that's good. You can keep. I'm good.
But
good.
Not a spider guy.
Good. No, not even close. My little boy's room, so I saw spiders, spider web hanging on up.
It's the creepy crawlies, as I call them.
And he loves it. I'm like, you do sleep in here? He's like, just happy
fine.
as can be.
Just fine.
Just happy as can. Oh gosh, he had a tarantula and it died, which is sad.
I know a guy.
But he loved.
If you want to replace it, I know a guy.
I do for him. But he loved that tarantula so much, and feeding it and stuff like that.
I will say it's cool.
We did. So we got a chance to watch it. It was over like Animal Planet right there, and me in the tank, like the cricket. The spiders coming up, creeping up, and get close to it, and just as we get ready to jump, the cricket moved, and that thing raised up.
Oh yeah. And
the cricket moved, and it was like, whoa! I was like, whoa!
Mine's still a sling, and it's pretty bad.
Me and my daughter were like huddling back away from it. And there's Ben. There's Ben. All up against the glass and stuff. You're loving it.
There is something oddly fascinating with it, but it's
creepy as hell.
It is very.
So let's dig into, so you talk about the ghost hunter and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I'm willing to bet then, because you mentioned it to me before on the last episode, we were going to talk about shadow people and stuff. We're going to dig into that now. And you say you've encountered a shadow person. So is that what fascinated you, watching like the ghost hunter shows? Or
yeah, so
did you have paranormal encounters as a kid, growing up, still having them? Or
my whole family. I don't have. So the one shadow person, it's one.
Okay.
My entire childhood, and so I grew up in a small town outside of Northwest Arkansas, and it was old farmland, and I was a little bit. I was pre-teen age, maybe a little bit. It was middle school because we moved into this house when I was in middle school, and I started noticing things when I was getting a little bit older at a particular time, and this time is relevant to 10 years of me living in this house before I went to college. So one night, after things that we couldn't explain, And I was me and my stepdad, my ex-stepdad at the time. We were both upstairs, just chilling, watching a game. We might have been playing a video game. I don't know. But we both just happened to look over at our stairs at the same exact time. And we both saw the silhouette. It was a solid silhouette, no identifiable features. And we just looked, and we looked right back at the TV, and we're like, what did we do? And my stepdad and I, we both saw the same silhouette of an older gentleman. And this was at 11:33 p.m.
Okay, so how do you know it was an older gentleman? So
you could tell, like, the silhouette was very clear. Like, he was just a little man. You could see that he was wearing overalls. Like, you could see he was like
so you're seeing an apparition, reflection, not a shadow, but an apparition.
It was you couldn't see through him. But you couldn't see, like, my desk, like my household desk.
No, okay, so like my full body that I saw at Fort Hood, it was real quick. It was right in my peripheral, and it was so clear, like I could see the lights, you see everything, and you couldn't see. I mean, it was a guy wearing a white shirt and deep blue coverall. So apparitions. You're not. Yeah, I don't know where you see translucent ghosts at, but
yeah, I don't know, because like it was never like we could see through him. It was just like, it was just a full dark figure. And we both looked, at him, and it's like the trance broke. It's like he almost wanted us to look that he was there, because literally Derek and I, we both looked right back at the TV, and then we came to and like, did you just see that? Because we looked back and he was completely gone. So now we know he's there. We were like, we just saw that. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. Look at that.
I see him.
And so fast forward throughout the years, like we started hearing more things. Like we were now, just like we were talking about in the last show, is your brain tells you to start thinking about things. Well, now we know what we saw, and we started picking up on these things, little weird things, creaks, sounds, no full vocalizations. We never heard a true word. But 11:33, a couple weeks later, a.m., I saw him again, but downstairs. There was a correlation to 11:33 a.m. or p.m. We never saw him outside of that time.
Okay.
Now we would hear him, but we would never see him. So this went on for years. But my siblings, they did not see him as a man. My siblings, I'm allergic to cats, so we didn't have cats growing up, but my siblings would talk about seeing a cat in our house.
Be careful in my house. I have a cat.
I already saw. I'm fine. I'm not allergic to all cats, and I'm not deathly allergic. But they started seeing a cat, a tabby cat in the house. And I'm like, we definitely don't have a cat. So, based on just different stuff that I read and watched, like certain apparitions may come across a certain way to another, because he was not threatening, he was not intimidating, there was no poltergeist activity that was scary, he was not a threatening, there was no negative aura, no nothing. But
yeah, I'm already running a theory already.
So I have mine, but so over the years it became not frightening or startling. It's just like we kind of know what's happening. Sometimes we plan to
name it.
No, we weren't going to name. We didn't want to piss him off. And because like clearly he was not a bad person, and clearly he probably lived on a farmstead or something like that in Centerton, who knows how long ago. And but fast forward to college. 10 years, go to college. I go home on weekends and I come back. So it was like I started getting all my winter clothes. So I left clothes, brought stuff back to my dorm. A couple days go by, a week or two, and I'm hearing things again. And I'm like, I haven't heard it for months.
In the dorm or?
In my dorm room.
Okay.
And so one day, my roommate's asleep. Jeremy, if you see this, because I'm going to be tagged, you'll remember this. I had to tell him. And anyway, I'm laying in my bed, TV's on, and all of a sudden, he just appears in the corner, just in the corner of him, at the foot of Jeremy's bed.
Okay, my theory's gone.
So I don't know what I brought home to my dorm room that he somehow was attached to something. I don't know at the time. I don't know what I brought home.
Okay.
But anyway, so one day, this was the scariest, and it wasn't scary to me, but it was a little alarming. So my roommate was a little messy. We're teenage boys, but my entire room was completely straightened. I came back, or I was coming to my room, and Jeremy called me and was like, "Did you touch my stuff?" Our room was completely straightened up, and I have never seen that. My RA, who lived in my wing, he didn't go in there because they have to announce when they're going in there. But so I know he didn't do it. And so I ended up telling Jeremy's like, hey, I have a childhood ghost that I've had my entire life. He's here. I've seen him. And, I'll talk to him just to talk, as a kid. And so I had a conversation with him saying like, hey man, you can't stay here. Because Jeremy ended up staying in his girlfriend's dorm room, like for a while. And he was like, I don't feel comfortable with this. And so I talked to him, didn't know if he was listening. So I had these conversations multiple times over about a month. And then I went back home, like for a weekend, I took a whole bunch of stuff and I was like, hey man, you need to go back home. Like that's where you live. And he didn't come back to school with me.
Yeah. Yeah. My theory's gone.
I don't know what to say. Like, I'm not a paranormal investigator. I've went on some ghost hunts. I was part of the paranormal club at Tech, but I'm not a ghost. I can't say I'm a ghost hunter.
Well, so you don't have to be a ghost hunter. I mean, you can be a researcher and dig into and read
And I did
about
it.
hauntings and stuff like that. And I mean, that's fascinating. I have no idea what that could be.
I know. Like I said, there was.
It's funny that he listened to you because my first thought was a residual.
I thought
So
at first we thought
11:33.
we thought maybe it was a death.
Well, actually, I don't think it. So I think a lot of residuals is Arkansas is a natural state.
Yeah.
There's so much quartz in the ground here.
I had all my backyard.
Much. Yeah, so much.
I had chunks.
You can't dig in Arkansas without finding quartz.
No.
And, quartz was used back in the day, for ceremonies, trap energy, blah, 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 blah. So I think a lot of hauntings that we're seeing are just trapped energy and it just hits. It just comes out. So, there's not so many, per se, hauntings. It's just a residual thing that people are seeing. 'Cause like you said, too, there's no poltergeist activity. There wasn't do nothing in the house.
Until he moved our stuff.
Until he moved your stuff.
That was the I've never seen that. Like I said, we've heard him go up and down the stairs.
What if he was a drill instructor and just got tired of y'all being like slobby or something?
No, my parents were very anal. Like, we didn't have shoes on our carpet.
No, I'm talking about at the dorm room.
I was good. I was raised a certain way. But my roommate at the time.
Maybe that's why he had enough.
But he may have. I'm excited. We heard a lot of sighs. Like I said, you could tell just by the way he was, his groans, and we'd hear more of that than we would see.
See, I like these kind of ghost stories or these paranormal encounters. And the reason why is because it's a totally wow. I mean,
it was cool. Like I said, it was never scary. I was never scared. Now, when I saw that our room is complete, I was like, that's new.
Yeah, you got to go up.
Yeah, like Jeremy was scared, and so I was like, we can't have that. And
no.
Yeah. So and Jeremy was a big boy. I mean, 18-year-old covered in tats from West Memphis, big boy. But he watched SpongeBob and go to bed every night. I was like,
yeah, I like SpongeBob.
I grew up on SpongeBob. But yeah, so I thought that's my I lived with this. There's little things that, my mom would be in her bed and the blanket would cover her feet. And little things like that. But nothing scary, no daggers flew across the room or
it's Hollywood.
Yeah, and like I said, there's
actually some really good footage out there of cutlery.
There is somewhat convincing.
Yeah, it's one of the next things we're about to start working on here at the show is that we're going to take a lot of these videos and stuff and play them and have me break them down.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Nuke's Top 5. He's a big YouTube. People sent him their footage and he analyzed it. He's like, tell me what you think. He's not saying that's all 100% a ghost. You never see his face. He's all voiceover. But people just send in their clips. They send them through email and he lets us. I mean, he's a big YouTuber. Yeah. And you get to make your own thoughts.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, though. Yeah, I want to let people make their own thoughts. I got a guy. He's got some really weird stuff on trail cams, and he's got one, and he's like, he wants it to be an orb so bad, and I was like, God, that's spider web. Yeah, I hate saying it's a spider web, and you
just crush people.
And it is great. Yeah, and I hate doing that to him. I was like, a spider web, and I could see the spider web, and he was like, no, it triggered the camera. Said there's a squirrel on the tree and it's moving, and he goes, it's staring at us. I said, no, because the IR came on and the squirrel's like, what is that?
Yeah, there's a red light.
There's a red little blinking light. There was nothing there before.
Yeah.
So
and it was a reactive.
And, yeah, exactly. But no, that's crazy. So
that was cool.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty neat little encounter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just my whole family. There were 7 of us in that house. We all saw it.
And we just kind of all guys just kind of helping out, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You hear about those every once in a while. But
Because Centerton was rural. Very rural.
Centerton is still rural.
It's still pretty rural. Walmart in Bentonville is starting to get its little fingerlings into it.
No, that's growing like crazy up there.
Yeah, my parents will be like, where do you want to eat? I was like, I don't know. There's something new every time we come here.
Yeah, we had Schwan customers at Centerton. I used to run Schwans out of there.
Derek worked for Schwann's.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
When?
I don't know. I was in elementary into middle school. Derek Reese.
No, I got out. I joined Schwans in 2010.
No, I was a junior in high school. Senior in high school. Okay.
Yeah, so when I worked for Schwans. I started working for Schwans 2010 and then
That was
left.
like 02, 03 maybe?
Yeah, then I left in 2020.
Okay.
02 or 03, I was in the Army.
True.
Halo infantry. But, yeah. Okay, so shadow people. You said you saw a shadow person.
I mean, that's my apparition shadow, because you never saw features.
Okay. So,
you could just see a really solid silhouette.
and it's the only time in your life that this has ever happened.
I've had some unexplainable things. Can I be like ghost? But I'm super open to that. Like, I'm very open to it. So, like,
Right.
I don't want to use the word sensitive because that sounds like I'm a medium or something. But
Okay, so so this is what I've learned. There are people who are sensitive. There are people who are medium stuff, and there are people who have encounters, and they seem to keep having encounters. I think once you've had one, it does something to you, mentally.
Yeah.
To where I'm not gonna say it opens your third eye or any stuff like that
for
at all.
sure. Again, that's more Hollywood stuff.
Yeah, but what that does though is that you're seeing something that you're being told your whole entire life that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so
whether that's just the lack of paranormal or it's religion.
Yes, and and the funny part on the religion side too, though, what drives me nuts about that is the Bible's full of nothing but paranormal.
If you break it down,
magic.
Yes. And Hollywood in certain areas we've changed the name of certain things.
Well, there's
witches.
There's no mention of rapture anywhere in the Bible. The word rapture is nowhere in the Bible. It's man-made. It actually gets traced back to like the mid to late 1800s to a preacher out west. Yep, we started using the word rapture, and it spread. Yep,
Baptist.
So I'm one of the main little ones that are out there.
Christianity is the newest religion.
It is, but I mean, under the branches of Christianity, because there's we got Baptist, Southern Baptist, Lutheran.
That's true. If you start getting the smaller ones.
Getting the whole, all the way across.
Because I grew up Southern Baptist, and then it kind of went to Contemporary Baptist.
I was raised Mormon.
I was not raised Mormon.
I was raised Mormon. It's a whole other episode. Love your mom and dad. A whole other episode. My mom and dad were real active in the church.
My dad's side was very active. Flat earther.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't get with that.
No. But, and that's the funny part too, though, is that so when you see something that's not supposed to exist, I think it does something to you psychologically. And it does open you up to where if you are thinking, like, why are the lights over there moving by their own? But no, the lights are moving. That gives you that idea, that imagination to think that maybe there is something more.
Something turned
there's something happening. But they talk about it all throughout history. I mean, ghosts are mentioned throughout history. Giants are mentioned throughout history. And I'm talking about history in the Bible. Yeah, and the Bible included as well. It goes, because I'm going to bring the Bible in for a reason here in a second. But if you look at the Old Testament and you read in and you hear what they're saying, they weren't writing metaphors.
No, they were writing what they saw.
They weren't trying to write a metaphor. A major battle, you know what I mean? And they're outnumbered. And they have a chance if you defeat one person, all right, game over. If we defeat your one person, game over. We'll just say we were with heartache. And this one person is a giant, and this is supposed to be overcoming an obstacle in life? No.
Someone saw giants.
There were giants. It's talked about there were giants. Moses sent his spies in, and they came back and said, we are like nests to them. We can't. So they wandered for 40 more years.
Yeah.
God said, I told you to go in there. You're in there.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Wander around again.
Yeah.
Here's some manna. So, and by doing this show, though, and the more research I do, the more actually closer to God this actually has brought me.
No, yeah.
I mean, because it's, like, we were talking earlier, I do a prayer before I do a paranormal investigation. I do paranormal and I do, cryptid hunting. I dabble in both because I'm fascinated by both. I don't have one just one thing
Because you want to find it.
Well, I will tell you too, though. So when you're doing both, you have to sometimes separate it.
Yeah.
So like the one when we were doing the Jacksonville Battlefield, I mean, my first, I saw like a perfect X tree. I'm like, Bigfoot? Oh no, I'm not here for Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Are you here though? You know, and but yeah, I don't know where I was going with that one. The thing is, so I have to separate the two because of knowing that it's there and looking for it. But I'm also the first ones where like if there's a light, I want to be like, okay, where's that light coming from? What's happening to it? Why is it moving? Was it chasing me? Was it coming? You know what I mean?
That's also a military thing.
Yeah. Well,
just being observant.
So
that shouldn't be there right now.
I do have. So I mean, one of the big things that got me into this thing is I had a major encounter in 2002 at Fort Hood. I was the NCOIC of an AHA site, ammunition holding area, and it was so bad. My two guards were crying to leave. Something stalked us that night. There's missing time. Yeah. Rocks, boulders being thrown, not boulders, but like bowling ball size rocks being thrown at us. Something that your average Joe was not going to pick up, like chunking at people.
It's the new ACFT, though. Yeah, the medicine ball toss.
That should be. Is it really?
Yeah, the new ACFT.
It's about time.
Yeah, it's a 6-event PT test now.
It's about time.
It's easy to pass. It's hard to max.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, so like the APFT was kind of rough.
Yeah, the original one, the 3? Oh, yeah. I never maxed it.
That was hard. I could max usually one event. It was either I'm going to max push-ups or I'm going to max sit-ups. I'm definitely not maxing the run. I maxed the run.
I maxed the run.
Fresh out of boot camp.
I maxed the run all the time.
No.
My fastest time was getting ready for the EIB. Since we're way off topic here. But yeah, I maxed the run. I came across at like 10-something.
Sure.
And the night before, I'd been drinking Jack.
Oh, yeah. That was definitely.
Okay.
Drink
hold on.
PT test.
Oh, yeah. That's what I used to do. I'm a young private. Come across the fence line, my platoon sergeant grabbed me, started shaking me. All right, way to go, Orton. I puked all over his BDUs.
That means you tried.
And his boots. And so I had to like iron his uniform for like a week and had spit shine his boots for a week.
Yeah, that's old Army stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That was great.
I don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah, no spit shining, no more starching, no more doing that stuff.
I was like grandma pattern for a while.
So, but we did have this encounter down there, and there's plenty of episodes of it out there, guys. It's featured on numerous shows. So, you know, it makes it be on tell you where to go find it at. But because the show's not about me, it's about, you know, you guys and your encounters and stuff, and then we try and discuss the theories. But when it comes to the paranormal side, it fascinates me because you can go down so many rabbit holes. And again, too, like in the Bible, they're all mentioned, it's all talked about, everything's in there. And we choose to only to listen to and read what fits our narrative. So a couple of years ago, I'm fascinated with Genesis, especially Genesis 6. So I set up a meeting with a pastor here in town for a big church. And so meet and talk. And he was more than happy to meet with me and everything else like that. So we sit down and we kind of chit chat for a few minutes. He'd been a Schwann customer of mine. So it made it kind of easy to do this. But I said, hey, I'm kind of curious, guys, questions. And I brought up Genesis. And I started talking and he kind of looked at me and goes, I cover Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I went, man, I'm sorry for wasting your time. And that's exactly how I felt. I felt like I wasted his time.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, I appreciate it. You know, how's life going?
Yeah.
Conversation's going to go nowhere. Because a lot of people
I have my theory on Genesis.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't want to dig into this stuff. And I think there's a lot of theories in Genesis that comes into, like you're saying, so Genesis to me is really fascinating because there's so much wording in there.
And a lot happens.
And a lot happens in a short amount of time. They're trying to get information in there. But I think they're talking a lot of stuff that pre-Adam. So I do think that there was civilization here pre-Adam, before Adam and Eve. The rebellion in heaven took place.
Yeah.
Okay. The war took place. But what bothers me, one of the lines that bothers me is that when God cast Satan out, Lucifer out, he fell to the earth, right? And when he hit the earth, the city shook. What cities?
What cities before Adam and Eve?
What cities? Yeah. So I fully believe that there is a actual, I'm being a bit of a mosquito, so I'm scratch. But I fully believe that there was a pre-civilization and possibly an angelic civilization that was here.
Very well.
And I think that man was created. God created man to correct some of the mistakes that was made. Not saying that everybody goes, God didn't make mistakes. If he didn't make mistakes, then why did he destroy the world multiple times? Because he even says, "I won't do it again." Well, how many times have you done it?
Yeah. Because like my thought with that is, God made Earth in 6 days or 7 days, and then rested on the seventh. I think because God has infinite time, It wasn't 6 earthly days. I can tell you that.
Well, I'm going to throw you for a loop.
Okay.
The original translation is not creates, brought forth, raised up. The birds,
Which could be over a millennium.
He released the birds. The grass he raised through. From the seeds that was already there. There was stuff already here. He brought it forth. So our Bible is for our time for Adam.
That would make sense.
And there's nothing really prior to. And then we hit the flood, wiping the Nephilim, wiping the giants, wiping. But what's funny is that you keep going on and they're back.
Yeah, the whole the world is repopulated.
Yeah, it's like boom, it's happening again.
Even if everyone lived 900 years old.
Exactly, it's still repopulated.
Yeah.
So, but if you go back to in the Bible, they're talking about okay, so when the Nephilim and the Watchers died, or perished in the flood, okay, they couldn't go to heaven, and they couldn't go to hell. They were forced to roam. So the classic case of a shadow person.
Sounds like a ghost, yeah.
It's a black outline figure. If you've seen the videos of them, you see they darting around. So that's why he said shadow person. So I've had 3 encounters with shadow people. It's like you see Frank on the tree over there.
Yep.
So that's Frank. Yeah, speaking of us. So every time a shadow person's doing what Frank's doing, just kind of watching, but we look over, it notices that we notice it.
It darts.
It runs away.
Like, oh, they can see me.
Right. So I was cracking a joke there, calling it a peeping Tom.
No.
Okay. And now I was having a conversation, doing an interview. She was talking about her shadow people experiences, and I was going to the peeping Tom theory. And I went, hold on. They're watching.
Yeah.
So are the shadow people maybe the spirits of the Watchers?
Everyone's
still doing what they're doing?
If they're stuck, what else are they going to do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's because they always run away.
Yeah.
And then I do think, like, I've had one shadow person encounter where we looked at each other and it wasn't going anywhere. And it was, I'm a kid and this thing is like staring at me and I'm looking at it. And I roll over.
Like just reliving, like I'm reliving like mine. I'm getting goosebumps again.
Yeah. So I get all the way back here in the back. So that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
All right. So there they go. But I flipped over to the back of the couch, and I rolled over and looked, and it was still there. And when I looked at it again the second time, it was stretched out like this, full body stretched out, and it raised his head up. Like, I see you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I get goosebumps every time I tell my story too. So like every
time. Around, I flipped around, stayed about the couch, like, go away, go away, go away, go away. The typical little kid thing.
Yeah.
And stayed that way until the morning. And, told everybody, oh my gosh, I go, da 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 da. And it was funny because this happened after we had a shadow person in my mom's apartment before she married my stepdad. So, so we're still on that weird kick. And of course, I think they're just telling me, no, you didn't. It'd be nice.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, oh, okay, we go to this place. So this is, what's going on with y'all with, shadow people. So then my other one was typical one. It was in Texas. I sit with the TV on watching, Discovery Channel, History on Sci-Fi, not Sci-Fi, but mainly Animal Planet and stuff like that.
Oh,
I love, I love all that stuff, and I love that. And you see the cheetah get ready to chase the gazelle down. I mean, I sure do. That monotone going on, and I woke up. I don't sleep all night long, anyways. So I woke up and TV was on, hadn't turned off yet. And I was like, okay, and I happened to look, and right at the doorway of the bedroom was this little person peeking around the corner. And my first thought, it's my daughter. And I'm like, wait, she's in California. And I sat up, and they saw me sit up, and boom, I'm out of bed, and go in there, and where it was standing at, there's physically no way anybody could stand there, because what was in place right there, the DVD tower, yes, all that. DVD tower, DVD tower, TV, no, things are right there by there's no way this could happen. So, so that apartment, which is weird because we took a trip. We came up here, me and my ex did. This is in Louisville, Texas. We drove up here to see my parents and stuff, see her parents and everything. She's from Arkansas, so we're all hanging out. And we get home and we're down at the pool. The pool's right outside the apartment. And the people below us came out of the pool, and they're like, well, what time did y'all get back? Yesterday. They're like, we didn't. we came back in, a couple hours ago. They're like, well, y'all are moving your chairs and stuff around up there.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Poltergeist.
So I was thinking, maybe there's more to that shadow person I saw. But the shadow people are also affiliated too with haunting houses, with hauntings.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm wondering, if the house is actually haunted, if there is actual paranormal going on, Is that maybe a portal area? Maybe a weaker in the veil? I mean, we could go different theories.
Yeah, I mean, however they travel back and forth.
I don't know. But it makes me wonder, though, because it's very rare to have a shadow encounter and then, you know what I mean? Or a haunting without a shadow person. There we go. I'll do that one.
Yeah.
So haunting is, because I think you see shadow people without having, you know what I mean, encounters. But if you have a haunting, there always seems to be like a shadow person. You know, probably about 70% of the time, there's a shadow person involved as well.
An active location.
Yep. But then again, too, though, so here's the other risk, too, is how many shows are out there in ghost hunting?
A lot. Yeah, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. Well, then you have all the YouTubers.
Yeah, then you got the paranormal. So the what I like is a paranormal kind of camera. So you have all these shows, all these YouTubers, everything out there. So people are watching it and everything. And so when I get ready to go into do a deep investigation, one of the questions I do like to ask, and I had Chum with the Spirits here this weekend, and me and the guy on the same page. He goes, "Yeah, you know, what kind of shows are you watching? What shows do you watch?" And if they're watching a lot of these shows and all of a sudden now they're having stuff happen in their house, 99% of the time it's that whole entire, oh, wow, is our place haunted? Everybody wants to ask that question, is our place haunted?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's where a lot of people go with is that prospect of, is it haunted?
Who knows?
I think no.
Probably not.
I think no.
It is. I mean, it's.
But now I'll do the flip side. I'll play the Ghostbusters card. I got the Ghostbusters card. So the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. They're chasing ghosts.
Slimer.
Yeah, they're chasing ghosts. They're hunting down ghosts, right?
They're plasma guns.
And they're riding on the bridge, Brooklyn Bridge. Man, it's Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd, and Echo One, and he's talking about the Bible. You know, dead rising from the grave, blah blah blah, in the end times. And so he goes, "Do you think that maybe that we've been so busy because this is the end times? And there's more hauntings coming out now, as opposed to what there were maybe 40 years ago. There's got to be some kind of correlation that ties into that kind. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's like our grandparents been saying that the rapture is going to happen in their lifetime, and then it's our parents.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're in the end of times.
Yeah.
I don't think that at all. I don't think that's happening anywhere. The only thing I would say that I'm on the fence on is, and I have to be real careful. I say I may not be able to say it on the air. There's a lot of stuff been happening politically in the past 6 years, not only in our country but around the world, that triggered a couple thoughts that I had that tie back into, because it did say that it would be like in the days of Noah. So here's the thing: Noah wasn't picked because he was a man without sin. Noah was picked because his blood was pure. The rest of the world had been tainted and corrupted already, including the animals, including the plants, including all that stuff. It had already been tainted already, and so God flooded it. You know, it's trying to clean slate, let's start us all over again. You guys got out of control, slap you around, like, spoiled kids, take the tablet away.
Yeah.
Now do it.
No pun intended.
Exactly. So, so we're going with that in Days of Noah, and now all of a sudden, we're cloning a dire wolf, and then we're cloning woolly mice. They're talking about some other creatures coming back.
Because they're talking about releasing this into the actual wild. And I'm like, when we already have cold places heating up, I don't know if...
The only place I think they could do would be, honestly, like the tundra. But the tundra's going away.
So, yeah. And I mean, granted, there's still places in Russia.
Northern Canada, Siberia, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. But why are we... If we're going to do all this research here, and we're going to do it all here, why are we going to give our stuff to Russia?
We're not going to.
Yeah,
but again,
that's like one of the places they're talking about.
So yeah, that's where the conspiracy mind of me comes into place at, with that. So, but yeah, so I think the shadow people, though, back to all the way that again is the Spirits of the Fallen.
They very well could.
Yeah,
I didn't ever think about that. I didn't.
So it's a lot of research and me digging into, and just
because I just accept
every encounter. I mean, it's just like every encounter. It's like, I've been trying to track down this Sasquatch thing, and Todd Neeson does a good job of talking about infrasound. And so maybe the possibility that, their first translucent is why, they're able to cloak or get blurry pictures is because of that, and the infrasound between the blurriness and all that good stuff. I mean, because a polar bear is black. It's a
black bear.
Exactly.
With clear fur.
Yeah, with clear fur, and it reflects the light. Yeah, exactly. So, it's to the point to where, I don't know what the creature is and what it's doing. All I know is that, what I saw, in Bald Knob last fall, I'd never seen anything until that day.
And that's another thing. In Northwest Arkansas, just south of Fayetteville, there was always there were sightings of Bigfoot just south of Fayetteville all the time.
All the way from Harrison, all the way to...
Yeah, definitely in Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, when I was in Jasper a few months ago, and
that's where Todd lives at.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be going to Jasper this weekend.
Everywhere.
Yep, I was supposed to be going to Jasper this weekend.
I love Jasper.
You hear what happened to Jasper? No, the water tower?
Did it fall down?
Landslide.
Oh, no.
No water. No water. National Guard's up there. FEMA's up there.
So I was supposed to be activated today. And I had to tell them, hey,
maybe now you know why.
No, yeah, they said we were going to help them with sandbags. But I was like, hey, I am a victim of this latest storm. I can't help others when I can barely help. I didn't have power for days. Mind you, I have tons of reptiles. I have a toddler. My wife, my entire household was uncomfortable. And then the power came back on and our kitchen flooded with sewage. And so...
sewage?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it was run off water, and it just backed up our pipes.
I bet
it wasn't like poop water. It was dirty, but it wasn't
dirty, horrible water.
Yeah, and so I think it just somehow got backed up, and just debris got clogged in there. Literally before.
Well, there was a lot. We got 12 plus inches of rain.
Oh yeah, because I have a holler that runs through, and that creek was roaring. But I bought so much plumbing stuff, and then right before we came out here for the first episode, right before I texted you that I was coming out, we had just got rid of the clock with a 20-foot snake.
We could have rescheduled.
I was determined. We hadn't gotten to wash our clothes. We hadn't gotten to use our sink, wash dishes, and it was just everything.
I got a washer and dryer.
I know. I can't do that.
Hey, you can see.
I was this close to going to the laundromat. I don't even know. There's a laundromat on JK.
I'd have been like, hey, while we're recording, I do some laundry. But absolutely.
And I was going to fix my problem. And I think I did. We've used, my wife has done stuff since then, so no gross water. But I was damned to get that done.
Oh, that's crazy. So you talk about, you just pretty much, you said, okay, yeah, so you're all about the ghosts, and on the last episode, it was about Bigfoot and everything like that.
Like I said, not only do I want to think that there's animals that we have, and just it's no difference with gorillas. Sometimes you have the gorilla people, and you can't find them. Lowland, highland gorillas.
Yeah, they weren't recognized until the 1920s.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, if a known species can hide so well in an area that we do know, and there's areas of even in the United States that isn't heavily traveled, and if it is, they're not probably looking. There's still species out there.
Do you know what the number one sighting is people have a Sasquatch? Driving. They'll stay on the side of the road.
And there's no phone.
Yeah, it's just there.
And that's a lot of them on Highway 540 or 40 or whatever it is. That's where a lot of these sightings are, is because
people out there think they're watching us. They're
Greenland,
fascinated.
West Fork, it's woods. Lots of woods.
Yes, there's a ton of woods up there.
It's a very pretty drive. And there's small, itty-bitty small towns out there. That's what they are.
I had an encounter in Jasper.
I love Jasper. That's where I was married.
Was it?
Yeah.
How awesome was that?
13 degrees when I got married.
Hello, yeah. Todd's been begging me to move up there.
I don't know if I could live. The little town is cute, though.
It is a cute little town, and I could to a point, because I've become a recluse.
I like to be out. I don't like living in town. I am not an in-town guy.
So I like living in town because if I need to do something, it's 10 minutes away.
See, that's
I can
the
get there,
only
I can
reason.
come right back.
I just want a place where I have 3 acres so I can have some of my animals outside. My kid can just not. I don't have to worry about him.
And I have everything 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because growing up, my dad lived in Pea Ridge, so it's we had Fred's and Dollar General, but it's it was still very country living, and I did like that. Now my sister lives in Pea Ridge, but again, Walmart in Bentonville is starting to get its little fingers.
I grew up in Plain City, Utah, with no stoplight, one stop sign, and nothing but a bunch of country kids, and it was absolutely a blast. And then I joined the Army and stuff like that, and my life just completely. Now Plain City's totally different. They've got a big
I'm not
school.
A city boy.
They've got everything going. Yeah.
Mm-mm. I never would have moved here, ever. I told myself I would never live in Little Rock. Granted, I'm in North Little Rock. Except I met my wife.
So Justin and Jay, you'll love this one. So for my Little Rock folks, I'm sorry, but Justin and Jay are y'all need to change your name and not be associated with Little Rock at all. This is great. They love being here. this weekend.
North Little Rock is not Little Rock for sure.
No, I love the community. I love the. I mean, we have the little sections of everything.
For sure.
I think you're in Park Hill, aren't you?
I'm in Park Hill.
Yeah, I'm in Indian Hill. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're just like right down the road. But I love
3.5 songs.
Yeah, 3.5 songs.
3.5 songs away.
You know, traffic pending, probably quicker if we didn't have the road diverted because of remounts flooded out.
I don't know, just GPS too. It was 3.5 songs.
Yeah, there's so much traffic.
It was 14 minutes on my GPS because I went up Skyline instead of going down Skyline to JFK, and so it like took me through.
Oh, the long. Okay, I don't
so
know
it might not even be 3.5. It might be 3 songs.
It might be 3 songs. This is what the show is like, you guys. So digging into the ghostly encounters and the Bigfoot and the paranormal and everything else like that. So, but I am going to get rid of the business for landing. We've been recording for quite a while this evening. We got the temperature's starting to drop a little bit, and I got to watch out for the lovely little reptiles that we have. But I have a funny feeling y'all going to see more of Connor coming on the show.
For sure.
I'm actually going to work on dragging him out to the woods with me to go on an expedition. You know, I'll take a herpetologist with us to go look for a primate. If it is a primate or whatever.
I'll definitely find snakes.
So, which is fine because maybe while he's looking for snakes, he'll find tracks.
Oh, who knows?
You know, so. But again, y'all, thank you very much. So, Connor, tell everybody again where to find you at.
Again, I'm at Russ Vegas Reptiles on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Perfect. All right, guys, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for liking and sharing. Remember, if you've had an encounter, email me, drunkencryptids@gmail.com. Make sure you like and share the page. Share an episode with one of your friends. I don't care what you do. Just like it, share it. Thank you for all the support, though. I do have a Patreon going, so make sure you check that out. If any of those tiers work for you, there's some good content on there. I break down Amityville Horror in one of those episodes, which was a lot of fun.
Oh, I love
a lot of fun. Amityville Horror is actually the first book I read when I was a young teenager that made me sleep with the lights on.
Mm.
It really did. That book horrified me. Scared the...
Yeah, I can imagine.
The Amityville Horror was probably beside my own childhood hauntings. My childhood haunting is what led me to the Amityville Horror. And
I
the
just
Amityville
grew up on
Horror is
horror.
what just went from there. I love
Now it doesn't really faze me. Horror movies don't faze me.
No.
It sucks.
No, there's nothing.
I hate that about that, though.
Well, I mean, with everything...
I want to be scared. Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
So true story, Dylan, if you're watching. So when I did your interview the first time, got down, I was on the phone with Tommy. And he has an attachment kind of thing at his place, which is really awesome. It's the Haunted Hutch. It's the Hutch episode. And we got them recording. I was on the phone with Tommy, telling him about the interview. And I shut everything down here off. And I'd gone upstairs. And I only had Jack at the time. I got inside. And I was on the phone. I was like, oh, man, I forgot something down there. So I came down here, and I was doing something over here by the table, right? And I turned around, and I could have sworn somebody was walking down the pathway. And I'm on the phone.
I got goosebumps again.
Yep, I'm on the phone, and I jumped 10 feet in the air on the phone with Tommy. And he's like, bro, you all right? Bro, I mean, he lives like right over here. So I know Tommy's already getting ready to jump in his car and come flying over here to make sure I'm okay. He's like, yeah, dude, I just thought someone was walking down. There was nobody at all. So sometimes I got to be real careful about how I do. And if it's a really type of episode, I do have to do a prayer and everything to make sure that, okay, if you're listening. And
yeah.
Because we've got an EVP on an episode.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, with a soldier.
Really?
Yeah, former soldier. Yeah, he was stationed in Schweinfurt. I was in Schweinfurt, and not at the same time. So, so we had some of that, stuff. And he had talked about one of his buddies that passed away, Afghanistan. So while we're talking and going through everything, there's a part where he slightly does a pause, and I heard something, and I had the headphones on, and I was like, "What was that?" And I'm writing down. I was like, "What?" I'm looking at the time. I mean, on the Zoom, like, what time was that? And I was like, "Did you hear that?" And he didn't even hear me say that. He just kept going right on. And then for my encounter, when I got on other shows for my encounter, I've had to redo it twice so far because there's technical difficulties. There's one show, Ryan over at Cordex, great guy Ryan is, but we interviewed him, and then we paused, smoked a cigarette, got everything geared on up, and then he interviewed me. So same everything, and all the audio was screwed up, so we had to redo it. And then we're talking about cameras and everything, right?
Camera's a big one.
Yeah, so the camera's a big one. So the episode hasn't aired yet with Brandon over Tinfoil Tales. And it might be aired by the time this episode airs or not, I don't know. But as we were talking, and I was inside. So constant lighting, there's no fluctuating lights. I'm inside, I'm uncomfortable, got the camera set up. And you can see like a shadow would just kind of go across my face every once in a while. you know, and finally about halfway through I'm going, is there a shadow going on? Oh, he goes, I've been watching it. I go, man. So we got done. I said, hey, just a heads up, because apparently we've had to redo this twice already on 2 different shows. So, and he goes, really? He goes, yeah. So I woke up that morning and there was a text message from him. He goes, hey, everything looks good. I was like, all right. So yeah, he made a post about the episode dropping and everything. So,
Crazy.
but yeah, you guys, so make sure you email me your encounters, drunkencryptids@gmail.com. Stay safe out there. Have fun. Make sure you check out, definitely check Connor's stuff out.
Las Vegas Reptiles.
There we go. Check him out. If you're into the reptile stuff like that. Do you do the expo here in Jacksonville?
So every single expo falls under a weekend.
Okay, that sucks.
I have done it.
Okay.
And generally I will at least go. I don't vend a whole lot. I sell out so quickly. And so I started breeding. I don't have a breeding season now. I have lots. So like I breed 4 or 5 females, let them breed, lay eggs, and then I breed another set. So like I constantly have stock in. But like generally if I have a breeding season, like
she is wanting out.
She wants out bad. I just sell because I've been doing this for so long, and like I like to pride myself on great customer service, and I will always hook up existing customers, always.
As it should be.
Yeah, so I take care of my people, but I generally don't have enough to have a booth.
Go. That makes
so
sense.
now we're doing our Zoo-to-You, and now I'm going to have more of just an educational booth, if I can.
Sweet. Well, guys, that's it for the Drunken Cryptids. Till next time, y'all stay safe.
I can do anything that I want. I can do anything that I want now. I can do anything that I want. Hey, hey, if it is to be, you know that it's up to me. I'm headed to the front. I can be anything that I want. I can be anything that I